What makes a good story? Well, what I think what makes a good story is whatever the situation is, whatever the current circumstances of what's being written about, uh, whether it's uh, the recent pandemic, or we can even say the 70s gas crunches and the Iran hostages in the 1970s, Argo. Uh, those are background in storytelling, but what anchors it is the personal relationships, the main characters. And with the Kill Floor, this new short by Carlos Avila, he does just that, and he does it quite masterfully. The director has been one of my kind of like indie favorites of mine for decades. With La Carpa, Fotonovelas, and Price of Glory, and it's just fantastic to see Carlos doing what he does best, being a director. And so this story is set around the early months of COVID, and how essential workers were hit especially hard, including in rural areas where the right information wasn't getting to workers. And there was some corporate suppressing of information. So that's really what this story is about, is this company that tries to, really screw over their workers for the sake of the bottom dollar and to keep them working, even though the health protocols and everything are completely taken advantage of, too laxed. So the father, who still works there, wonderfully played by Miguel Nájera, I believe, and the son, who has become a journalist for a state paper. I don't know if it's local. He comes back. It's like a local rural town. Really, those are our two anchors. Those are our two people. And you get a stoic father who's worked there for over 35 years, and you get a second generation um, Mexican American that has become done the American dream, been he's this journalist, and he's got to write about what's going on at the plant. So that dynamic is fantastic. It's very tender. It's illuminating, and it's also just full of dignity with the father, because there's this whole work ethic that is very, it goes down, generations of hardworking Mexican men. So yeah, you definitely felt that in this. So I really appreciate that. The background story, obviously is important, and it is timely. But what I'm concerned with is when we watch this film in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, what is it gonna what's the story it's gonna tell? And it's gonna be that of the father and the son, because even though the father, it kind of goes everything against his work ethic, to spill the beans about his own company, he's proud of his son, of what his son has become. And there's even a moment where the son shows the printed story towards the end of the short, and the father sees his son's name, written by Gil Navarro, and that was it for him. That was it. That was the whole sacrifice of over 35 years. It was all for that, for him to see his son's accomplishments. And even though it kind of goes against what the father was, as far as like being a company man, he made those sacrifices, and then he makes another one to the benefit of his workers. So it's really lovely, because those stories work well when you take that very personal conflict, and yes, you set it against just a catastrophic event that happened, whether it's this or anything else, which is fine. But what Carlos does, and he also wrote this. What Carlos did is put that personal story first, and it has to be first, or else it's just kind of just an educational film of you know corporate greed bad, and wear your mask here and do that there. Where this is deeper, and again, so happy to see Carlos's work getting this acclaim. Very well done, solid performances. But at the end of the day, I really loved the father, that stoic father. You don't get to see a lot on film and cinema, as far as this man, and then kind of that vulnerability that comes up towards the end. So yeah, wherever you can check this out, I highly recommend it, and I highly recommend you see Carlos's other films, including Price of Glory with Jimmy Smits from the year 2000. And that is our Latino Slant review spotlight on the short film The Kill Floor by Carlos Avila.